Numbers on Tony Jeffrey coming in this season. This is a team that absolutely loves to throw the tight end. You don't see the huge numbers out of the wide receivers, but this time Tony Jeffrey was able to find the open place.
Well, Vince Young has both tight ends up the seam, but he takes a chance outside here because he sees Jeffrey behind the cornerback. See Bo Scaife, who was open also on the play, but he found Jeffries for the score.
Well, Texas, you didn't get the feeling that they really needed that touchdown in that sense, that momentum was shifting, but Baylor had gotten right back into this game. And if you're Texas, you got to like the fact that your team came right back. You're throwing some haymakers to start this game. Baylor counter punches, and then you come right back at them if you're Texas.
Well, what you try to do is gang up on the run game of Texas so much that you're vulnerable outside, and you've got a cornerback out there man-to-man with a speedy receiver, and good throw, good catch, good execution by the Longhorns.
So Sean Rochon, who will make your all-name team anytime, back deep, but this one will come to Willie Andrews, and Andrews will take it at the 6-yard line. Trying to find the opening, and nothing's opening up. Closed on Saturday there as he gets it out to the 17. It's headed to the sideline. John Radigan, St. Louis, Illinois. Big part of that defensive line, that front four for Guy Morris's ball club. Well, Dane King on first down and 10 from the 18-yard line. Straight drop to throw. It's incomplete. Once again, Baylor receivers not doing a very good job of holding on to the football. You only get so many chances, and that time Mike Miller was not able to pull one in that he should have.
A little different wrinkle by Greg Robinson defensively here. 3-man rush this time. You got 3 down linemen, and you bring a linebacker. Kind of a zone blitz package. Decent throw by Dane King, just dropped by the big tight end.
Oklahoma, number 2 in the land in Norman, leading Texas Tech right now in the second quarter, 7-3. That went out to the 20-yard line. You know, what's more impressive, the fact that it's that close, or the fact that Mike Leach went for a field goal?
That's the thing I was looking at, 3 points. That's not the usual for a Mike Leach, but figuring, hey, if we get in there close enough, let's put points on the board, get some momentum. Be a good ball game to watch.
Baylor trying to do something they have not been able to do today. That is convert on 3rd down, and they face a 3rd down and long here. It's a 3rd down and 8. Trailing 21-7 early on in the second quarter. They are 0 for today. Throws this one, and it's complete. Make it 1 for, because Marcus Roberts, the man who caught the touchdown pass earlier, able to haul that one in. A gain of 13 yards on 3rd and 8. You'll move the sticks.
Well, defensively, they didn't have any pressure on the quarterback.
You know what?
Up front.
Gary, they said it was incomplete.
Yeah,
and they're right.
The ball hit the ground. Didn't pull it in. King throws a good ball, though, and does a good job getting it to his receiver. That's a catchable ball, and he's had 3 passes dropped so far by his wide receiver.
Daniel Sepulveda got 2 on that drive alone, or that series, I should say. Sepulveda back into punt. Here comes the rush. They block it again. And out of the back of the end zone. It got there in such a hurry. Michael Griffin, the man leading the way. Griffin just couldn't corral it before it left the end zone. And for the second time today, Texas blocks a Baylor punt. This time it leads to 2 points.
Well, this just breaks down in the middle, the inside of the Baylor punt team. Michael Griffin, number 27, is going to come through there and take a look. He's going to come right up the horn here, get right on the punter's foot, and do a good job of making a play. Just blocked it so cleanly, knocked it out of the end zone.
Too much club.
Now, the 2 points, and he's receiving a kickoff from the 20-yard line.
Well, first, we're going to take a break, though. Texas gets the block punt, they get the 2 points, and they get the ball back when we come back. Well, that gentleman has to be happy with what he has seen so far from his defense. Talking it over with Darren Harris and Derek Johnson. Pretty good way to start your defense when you come in as a coordinator.
Yeah, Greg Robinson's got a lot of talent on his defense, and I think he's really improved their level of play across the board. And special teams also making big plays with Michael Griffin blocking that punt. And
so after the safety, Sepulveda will punt it. They let it go to Giger. Goes off his hand all the way back to the 15-yard line before he can corral it. And covered very nicely for Baylor. You couldn't have asked for a better situation. The way they got down in punt coverage there is it down to the 20-yard line where Texas will have the football.
Really wasn't a very good punt off the foot, but Giger couldn't handle it, and the roll is what got him, and then the coverage came in, as you said, Kevin.
The call at the 21-yard line officially, where Vince Young takes his team out, leading by a score of 23-7 after Michael Griffin punt goes out of the back of the end zone. 2 more points for Texas. Looking for more here. They hand it to Cedric Benson. Benson breaking it through. Benson out to the 35-yard line. A gain of 14 yards.
Cedric Benson saw a hole, and he shifted into a whole other gear when he got through that line. Good job on the right side of the offensive line, creating a seam for him. You hold it right there, you'll see the gap that he has, and Cedric Benson's going to run right through it, and he just turns on the jets. He just trips over Tony Jeffrey's foot. Otherwise, he's going to have a huge game.
Senior from Midland, Texas. And with that carry, he's to the century mark for the 4th straight game to start the 2004 season. Tries this one again. He's out to the 40-yard line. Another gain of 5 yards. Justin Crooks was finally there to make the stop.
The stats are great on him, doing a good job running the football. You talk about getting to close to 100 yards here for this young man. They did take away the 1 rushing touchdown where he fumbled in the end zone, though, Kevin, and gave that to Bo Skate. So he does have the 1 touchdown on the day.
Well, Texas 18-0 in Cedric Benson's career when he goes for 100 yards.
He's not quite there yet. I think he's at 75 for the day.
They hand this one off. Tried it on the left side, and Matthews make it Benson again. This time, though, no gain. Kari Long was there to make the stop.
Grass on the old face mask there. A little rain this morning here on this field. I don't think it affects the grass so much out there. It's a pretty good track, good level, and the rain drains through here. Good pressure from the outside. Good job by the Baylor defense swarming to it.
It'll be a 3rd down and 6. Looked over at the stats monitor, and they had 100 yards on Cedric Benson, and then they corrected it back to 74. So he's got 74 yards rushing. Vince Young back to pass, throwing up top, looking deep. Incomplete. Tony Jeffrey just couldn't pull it in after he did a nice job of getting away from Maurice Lane, the free safety who came over in coverage.
Maurice Lane had him in coverage. He just ran by him. Tony Jeffrey seeing the ball thrown, underthrown actually. Vincent Young just trying to find somewhere to throw the football. He's got his eyes right on Tony Jeffrey and slows down, just doesn't pull the ball in. A chance to make that catch. Kind of swatted him on by.
Richmond McGee will punt it. Boom, the 50-yarder. This time, though, will be punting into the wind. McGee, the high hanger. Taken by Andrews, and he is popped. Got away from the first man, who was Michael Griffin, and then he paid the price. Texas will have it. 7:11:48 to go in the first half. We knew Derek Johnson was good, and he's putting on a show today.
Well, Derek Johnson, he came to play today. There's no doubt about that. All over the field. Say he's making big hits when he gets there too, Kevin. Doing something superlative here, tipping the ball, causing an interception. And when he comes and gets under blockers and makes big hits like this near the goal line, young man making plays for his defense. And he comes in and plays kind of angry. His speed knocks his helmet off. And he's trying to create something here on the outside. And Derek Johnson using everything in his arsenal and playing well here for the Longhorns.
It's just not fair for a guy that big, that good, to be as fast as the receivers he's playing against. So 1st and 10 Baylor as they have it at the 27-yard line. Dane King trailing 23-7. That's not going to help. Paul Mosley with nowhere to go. Frank Ocam shot through in a hurry. He had a lot of help.
Well, Frank, the defensive tackle, playing inside there for Rod Wright, who's out of the ball game this week because of an ankle sprain. Is that Satchel up front making a good play?
Yep.
That's Satchel.
I'm on Satchel.
They're rolling some guys through that defensive front, trying to shore up that inside.
There's Armand Satchel, junior from Denver. Coming in and making the most of his playing time. Big loss, second down. Satchel again takes Dane King down. Now, Roman Satchel says, in case you weren't watching last time, I'll give you another sample.
Well, that's only the second sack for the defense on the season. Really haven't been playing teams that are throwing the ball a lot. Looks like it's all protected, but then Satchel breaks out of the pack and gets to King before he has a chance to throw the football.
9-yard loss. This will be 3rd and an acre and a half. 3rd down and 24. Ball is at the 13-yard line. Armand's second sack of the season goes for a -9. Line to make is all the way out to the 37. And they barely make the 15. Paul Mosley takes it across the 15. Terrell Brown making the tackle for Texas, and it's punt time for the Baylor Bears.
Well, that's playing it pretty close to the vest. 3rd and long, just hand off, try to get something positive there. Texas defense doing a great job on that series, forcing the Bears back and going to bring up another punting situation where the punter's near his end line.
Daniel Sepulveda has already had 2 blocked today. Second leading punter in the nation. This time they're able to block up front. Sepulveda looking to get a roll, goes right out of bounds. And it'll be out at the 41-yard line where Texas will take over. Again, Sepulveda maybe a little gun shy at this point after having those 2 blocks. He's able to get that one away. It's a 43-yard punt. As we head down to the sideline, John Raddick
fell last night. There's only one spot on this field that's wet. I asked Brooke Whitaker, I said, what is that spot over there? He says, oh, don't worry, that's just the TV cables. So if we go off the air later, guys, I think we're going to know why.
That's where we plug in down there, huh?
Stay away from that part of the field, John.
Will do.
What did you see about Cedric Bench on that last run was YAC, yards after contact. Right at the line of scrimmage, he's getting pounded, but comes up with 6 yards. Just shows his power. And you're going to see the defense here get him right at the line of scrimmage. There's the first contact, but he goes through 2 of them, keeps working. Good job by Cedric.
Will Matthews, the man that was out there leading the way, along with those big offensive linemen. Good to have a fullback that can block as well. This time, though, Kari Long will not be blocked. Freshman from Wichita Falls Rider High School. There to make the stop. Big senior, 6'4", 265 pounds. Like you said, they want him to get a little more aggressive. He was plenty aggressive on that play. Look at the numbers.
This is pretty impressive today, what he's done.
Coming into today's game, that's what the numbers were. And trust me, look at that. 80 yards, 40 after contact today. So it is a 3rd down, 3 to go for the first. Young throws this one, and it's incomplete. Threw that one behind and off the hands. This time Nate Jones wasn't able to pull that one in.
Nate Jones, the freshman there, doing a good job of getting open. That ball's just thrown behind him by Vince Young. Would have been a 1st down.
Instead, punt time for Richmond McGee. Nate, this is a very young receiving corps for this team. Brian Carter's a junior, but you got Lima Sweet, who's a redshirt freshman. Nate Jones is a true freshman. Both of those guys have just teamed up for three catches this season. Tony Jeffrey, the veteran, and Eric Enard, who's just a sophomore. McGee hits the spiral. Picked up by Andrews, and he spins out to the 17-yard line where Baylor will have it once again, and all of a sudden it's become a punt fest here in the second quarter. Texas leading, though, 23-7, just under 8 minutes to go in the first half. 38-yard punt there. You want to stay with us coming up at halftime. A couple of good features. We'll take a look back at a couple of the all-time greats in the Southwest Conference. That man knows all too well about the Southwest Conference. Played at TCU back in the early 70s. A closer look at Earl Campbell and Mike Singletary. Also a couple of the all-time great teams here at the University of Texas, most notably 1963 Longhorn team and 1969. King rolling the pocket, throws complete. Ziegler has it in just a matter of where he stepped out of bounds. I think he has enough for the first down right at the marker.
I think this is a good play series for Baylor, a little bootleg series where you've got King rolling to his left side, a left-handed quarterback, and going against the grain of the defense, playing zone coverage now, defense for Baylor, for Texas. Not as aggressive as they have been in years past. Greg Robinson is bringing more of a defensive zone defense approach here to this team, and trying to rely on his defensive pressure up front and allow the secondary to come up and make plays.
His completion percentage not being helped by his receivers today. There have been a bunch of drops. This time Ziegler hangs on to it on the hit screen. Ball knocked away. Who's got it? Was it inbounds? If it is, it's Texas football. It is.
Larry Dibbles.
Yep, Larry Dibbles, the right man at the right place as the ball was knocked away. That time Ziegler was able to catch the ball, but he couldn't hold on to it after he got it.
Quick little slip screen outside. Good job by King. Get it to his receiver outside, and going to return up the field and watch the big hit here right on the football. Didn't see who it was.
I think it was Giger.
Might have been Philip Giger, number 22. Let's take a look. We see it here. Watch his head go right on the football. Sure is Giger. And then Larry Dibbles hustling to the sideline and making the recovery for the Longhorns.
Well, Texas trying to take advantage of another turnover. Benson on the delay. And defended nicely by the front four. Also Michael Tolbert, the linebacker, stepping into the hole. He wrestles Benson down after a gain of a couple. Big man Michael Tolbert, he's a senior. He played right here in Austin at Reagan High School. 6 foot 235.
They like Tolbert. They think he's got a nice thick base there, can handle the inside run game, which he does there very well.
Time remaining here in the first half. As you see at the top of the screen, Texas on top 23-7. Second down and 9 for the Longhorns. Young, pump fake, throws this one complete to Benson on the screen, and it's defended once again very nicely. And that time Justin Crooks, they've done a nice job of staying away from Justin Crooks so far in this game, but Crooks was on an island right there with a big man, and he took him down.
Well, you're going to see Benson here fake, then go out for the screen pass, and here's Crooks going to come up and make the play. Good job of reading it, anticipating getting contact on him. Needs some help there, but Cedric Benson talking again yards after contact. Broke the initial tackle by Crooks.
It's a third down and 4. Baylor defense has been pretty good here in this second quarter. They have to stiffen here again. Not going to do it here. Benson takes it ahead for the first down. He's down to the 27-yard line, and the Longhorn offense is rolling again. Anderson, Horn, and Michael Tolbert there to make the stop.
Well, the big offensive line is pushing their defenders out of the way, giving Cedric Benson a chance to get through there and get some positive yardage. This offensive line has played well all season, Kevin, and I think they've really come together. You see Casey Studdard, number 64, and Jonathan Scott. That left side, I think, is becoming the dominant side here for the Longhorns.
Well, that's a junior and a sophomore. Those guys will all be back next year. In fact, the only guy that won't be back next year is Jason Glenn, the center, senior from Richardson, Texas. Play action. Young going up top, has his man Bo Scaife, the tight end, makes the catch at the 12-yard line, and Maurice Lane immediately takes him down, but not before a gain of 14 yards and a Texas first down.
Well, you got Bo Scaife, who's 6'3", and Maurice Lane, 5'11", and it looks like that you're going to have a little bit of a size disadvantage here for Bo Scaife, number 80. You see him moving, going to come up and work to the outside on the defender. Vincent Young got plenty of time here. Watch the protection. Everything is all fine for him. He throws ball outside. The two tight ends here for Texas, Kevin, Bo Scaife and David Thomas, both are good in the open field.
You know, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better 1-2 tight end combination in the country than the two that Texas has in Thomas and Scaife.
It's pretty interesting, too, because you do have young wide receivers. You talked about their youth, but the experience at the tight end position allows Greg Davis, Mack Brown to play with those guys, and they've made 3 touchdown passes, I think it was last week against Rice, to those players. So the tight ends are a big focal point of this offense.
Bo Scaife, man, you were just looking at sixth-year seniors. He missed 2 seasons with that knee problem. There you see David Thomas. He's played H-back, fullback. He's even played a little split in for this team. And now one of the most versatile tight ends in the country. And explosive. Speaking of explosive, Benson explodes for another touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown run. And Cedric Benson, his 51st of his career.
We may have an infraction here, Kevin. Nothing special, just counter inside, and Cedric Benson just going powerful.
Oh, so an illegal formation, so they will bring this back. That was a very late call. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Is that what he said?
Yep, you have to have enough. Only 6 on there.
That was a late flag. Matter of fact, I never saw it come in.
Well, what he's saying is this player needs to be on the line of scrimmage. He's not. He stepped back because you got your receiver coming in motion here. That's number 4.
That's Lima Swede. Just another. You talk about that inexperience and that youth. It's another one of those freshmen. Lima Swede, the redshirt freshman. Second down, and it's going to be second down and 13 from the 14-yard line. Tony Jeffrey has it, spins away, touchdown, Longhorns. He spun away from James Todd, and for the second time today, Vince Young and Tony Jeffrey hook up on a touchdown.
That's good movement here by Tony Jeffrey outside. Watch him come up and spin away from James Todd. Todd, now you got to make this tackle. You got to make a sure tackle. Don't go for the football. That's a poor angle by him and a good play by the Longhorns.
Dusty Mangum in to make it a 30-7 ball game. And Mangum does just that. Oh, Texas has done its best as far as taking advantage of a couple of blocked punts, a couple of turnovers, and 7 more points. Makes it 30-7. Next week, of course, taking on Oklahoma. Baylor next week. They've got Missouri on FSN. It's a 9 o'clock start in Waco. Here's Sean Rashan. Out to the 20-yard line, to the 25, to the 27. It's a pretty good field position for the Baylor Bears after a 22-yard return with 4:37 to go. Eric Hall down in coverage, making the stop for the Texas Longhorns.
You know, Kevin, we talked to Guy Morris about his football team, about his program, and kind of where they're at overall. I asked him, I said, you know, are you where you want to be? And he says, no, obviously we'd like to be 3-0 coming into this ball game. They lost to UAB early in the season against Matt Brown's brother, Watson. And so he said, but what we do, we're not coming into this game thinking we're going to win this ball game. We just want to get better execution. We want better effort. We want to see measurable things to improve our program. And that's really how they're going about building this program. I think he's doing it the right way.
I like what he said when it comes to measuring success, not necessarily, at least in the infancy of this program, in wins and losses. He wants to see it in the way these guys perform on the field, how hard they work in the practice.
Well, he liked their style of play last week against North Texas in a ball game that they played well, and he felt like that if they came into this ball game with the same kind of style, that they're going to have success, not necessarily today, but as the season goes on. And Texas is a very, very talented football team. You know, he made a comment to me. He says, you know, when you line up against Texas and you look at their talent and who they have in their number 1s and their number 2s, he said, they can line up against the Dallas Cowboys and play a football game. That's how talented they are.
That was a gain of 8 to Ziegler. Second down and 2, back to the line of scrimmage. Man, I'm not sure he got there. Anthony King stood up right there at the line. It's going to be a 3rd down coming up. He didn't get the first.
You know, we talked about the quarterback position for Baylor. They opened it up for competition this year. Dane King and Sean Bell having a chance to really unseat Aaron Karras, who played last year as their starter, and they sat him over the last 3 ball games and gave Sean Bell some opportunity to play. But this transfer, Dane King, has come in here, got his chance to play in the spring and learn the offense, and he's gotten better every single week. So I think as he develops and this offense develops, Baylor's might make might be interesting to watch as things develop.
The Kings team facing a 3rd down and 1. Up over the top, and it's a 1st down for Paul Mosley. He's going at it the hard way, but the effective way as Mosley goes right over the line of scrimmage.
Now, we haven't seen a lot of Paul Mosley today. Obviously, haven't had a chance to see this run game go for Baylor, but he's an interesting back. 6'3", 230 pounds, got good downhill speed and size, and they like him at that tailback spot. Pretty good 1-2 punch, he and Anthony Craig.
That's first down. Baylor, second first down or third down conversion of this ball game. Burton went last time, but Ziegler couldn't hold on to the ball. Resulted in a turnover. Texas, a couple plays later, took it in for 7 points. This one is complete to Roberts, and Roberts, who had a touchdown catch earlier in the game, takes it ahead. And again, Baylor starting to just chip away right now. Michael Griffin there to knock him out of bounds, but not before a nice gain of 6 yards. Brings up second down and 4.
Well, we talked about the style of play of Baylor, multiple personnel, multiple movement here, a lot of motion. Try to align the defense to where they win some of the situations that they want to set up. And you know, with Texas's speed on defense, he told us that they have to cut the defense in half to try to win one side of the field.
Roberts' third catch of the day. A 24-yard touchdown catch earlier in the afternoon. King, plenty of time to throw, going up top for Roberts, and that's incomplete. That was covered very nicely. Cedric Griffin was out there, and he had some help. Terrell Brown also in the coverage for the Longhorns.
Yeah, really only a two-man route that time by Baylor. One short receiver and one long receiver, and you'll see him try to get deep and get behind the secondary here. Take a look at Roberts on the post pattern and just running, trying to run away from the secondary, but ball a little bit overthrown.
So third down and 3. Dane King again. Here comes the pressure. Gets rid of it and threw it away. So a fourth down coming, and once again, it was Neil Tweedy, sophomore, that came through there and was able to apply the pressure. And you're hearing a lot of names from this Texas defense. They got a chance last week to play a whole lot of different personnel, and they're doing it again today.
Yeah, they're playing a lot of people in there because they know that as the season goes on, they want to get experience with these players. And it's a good job on third down. Zone blitz confused the quarterback a little bit. Good pressure. Good pressure on him so far early in this ball game.
Well, there's Dane King. It's been a tough go for him today. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of help. I mean, he's had plenty of drops as well. Aaron Ross is back deep. Penalty marker is down, and Sepulveda boots this one, taken at the 12-yard line. Ross is spun down immediately. Coverage that time very solid.
Now, that might be offsides against the defense, and that would be a first down for Baylor.
Up procedure against Baylor. Well, Braylon Davis had the great coverage down there. 42-yard punt, but it doesn't matter. They have to do it again.
Procedure offense, 6 men on the line. Play it down. 5 yards. Fourth down.
Don't see that every day, but we've seen it twice in the past 2 minutes of football.
The ball to Baylor's 41-yard line.
The illegal formation will bring it back 5 yards. Sepulveda saying, I got to do this again. He's had 2 punts blocked today.
He's been more busy than he'd like to be.
One for a safety. I don't think he minds.
They're not enforcing the penalty here. It needs to back the ball up. There we go. The fans knew it right away.
Yeah.
As soon as they came to the line of scrimmage, the fans like, hey, wait.
So they back it up to the 41-yard line. Sepulveda punting for the 7th time today. He boots this one all the way back to the 8-yard line. Ross with some nifty moves. And gets it out to the 18. 10-yard return for Aaron Ross. A hang time of 4.5 seconds for Daniel Sepulveda, who should be warmed up by now. 52-yard punt. His 7th punt of the day. Vince Young. Solid afternoon for this young man. The sophomore has gotten it done.
Well, leading the offense here, doing a good job of reading that zone read, which he does so well, and then showing his speed to get out to the defense. And I think what's impressive about Vincent Young is actually throwing the ball a little bit, getting to his wide receivers outside. Tony Jeffries got a couple touchdowns on the day. And Tell you, when Texas, they get everything clicking, running the football, being able to pass, they're going to be an offense you have to contend with, leading the nation right now in rushing yardage.
Going up top here, penalty marker is down. It's taken in by Nate Jones, just his second catch of the year. But let's check the penalty marker. It was thrown in the secondary. If it stands, it's a 31-yard gain.
Flag on the play.
It almost looked it was thrown in the area of defensive holding.
Illegal participation in defense, 12 players. That penalty's declined. Complete pass, first down.
And that's got to be tough if you're a Baylor coach right now, because you're thinking we had 12 players on the field and they still got 31 yards.
Well, this is what Texas wants to see. They want to see somebody, number 9, come up here and make a play on the football. And watch what he does. He doesn't quit on the route. He continues to run with speed. Vincent Young throws a nice ball over the top to him, and Nate Jones, the freshman, makes the play. Kevin, last week in the ball game against Rice, the receivers tended to slow down at the end of those routes, and Vince Young was just a little bit off target, throwing over the top. Talked to Greg Davis about that. He said, yeah, that was a problem for them. It's something they coached them on this week.
Well, the 31-yard gain stands. This one is complete again. And going down to the 36-yard line is Tony Jeffrey, who's been a busy man today. Another first down, a gain of 25 yards.
Well, when you can read zone and the receiver reads zone, the quarterback does. He can fit the void there. Good job by Jeffrey getting in the void of the defense and coming up with the grab.
So from the 35-yard line, Young again going to work upstairs. And again finds the open man, this time at the 24-yard line, as Garrett finds the opening, make it Tyrell Gatewood.
Well, the same thing here to the outside. Gatewood's going to come up and inside, turn in here to the defense, see the two defenders, gets right in front of them, and does a good job of delivering the ball, Vincent Young.
First catch of the career of Tyrell Gatewood. He's a redshirt freshman from Tyler Chapel Hill. It's his first catch on the collegiate level. Here comes for another first down. Now they hand it off to Cedric Benson, and Benson fighting inside the 20 down to the 19 as the clock will continue to run. Under 2:15 to go in the first half. Willie Andrews, busy man today. He made the stop. Andrews, defensive player of the week for his job against University of North Texas last week. And look what Cedric Benson has done this week as he is zeroing in on the century mark again. Young will go down just like the penalty marker.
Probably going to get a holding penalty in the backfield there, as Vincent Young trying to escape and make something happen.
73, 10 yards, remains second down.
Jonathan Scott, the man guilty of the infraction.
It's hard to miss Big Jonathan, 6'7". He's right down here and stepping outside. Watch his left hand. You see his left hand around Kari Long there. It's a good call by the officials. Kari Long comes over, continues, and makes the play.
Second and 15.
So after the 10-yard penalty, to make it a second down at 15. It's again two tight ends set for Texas. And there's more procedure.
63, 5 yards, remains
Justin Blaylock.
second down.
Well, he said Big Jonathan on the other side, you know, he's got a little problem, and I'll take a little problem on this side. Not something Mac Brown wants to see his offense committing penalties out there.
He's going to be second down at 20. Set up the screen, complete to Benson. And covered nicely. Once again, Baylor's doing a really solid job right now defensively. After a tough start to this game, they have stepped up and stepped up big, as M.T. Robinson was there to make the tackle. Big M.T., sophomore from Newport News, Virginia. He stopped Cedric Benson. That's not an easy thing to do after a gain of about 7 yards on the screen. Young and company facing a third down and 14 from the 27-yard line. Line to make is the Baylor 13. This one is complete. Benson over the middle. Fighting close to the first down, but he's going to be short by a couple of yards. He's knocked out of bounds. The clock will stop just under a minute to go. Crowd wants Texas to go for it. What do you think here? You take the points?
Well, it looks like Texas is going to go with their big people in there. See the tight ends coming onto the field. Cedric Benson trying to be a little nifty there with his footwork. Good job in the secondary by Baylor coming up making a tackle. And
going to go for it here. This is 4th down and 2.
With a 2 tight end formation balanced here for Vince Young.
Trying to throw a knockout punch. Benson has the first down, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah, that's Colin Allred, the middle linebacker, tracking Cedric Benson down. Almost stopped him short of the first down.
Well, he just did get that. Allred came up in a hurry.
He had to. He's just got to zip right through here and make a play on Cedric Benson, and that gets him by the shirt.
You're taking a big man down with one hand. That doesn't happen very often. It was enough for the first down. Young throws this one. Complete. Sweet, he's thrown out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Lima Sweet, redshirt freshman from Washington, Texas. Brenham High School is where he went to high school.
Take a look at his delivery here. A little more compact and throws the ball 3/4 delivery.
C.J. Wilson knocked him out of bounds. Stops the clock. 41 seconds to go. It's the second down and 3. Beg your pardon. So Texas from the 5-yard line. They can still get a first down, which obviously would stop the clock, at least momentarily. Benson moving the pile and moving it to the end zone. Touchdown, Texas.
Well, Cedric Benson not only gets a touchdown, but goes over 100 yards on that carry for the day. Kind of a workmanlike effort here for this whole Texas offense, using the 2-minute drill, running it to its advantage, throwing the ball to his receivers, Vincent Young, and now using a big workhorse, Cedric Benson, to get the touchdown.
Watch the pile just move. It is a tough man to stop. Maurice Lane gets taken into the end zone with big Cedric Benson. With Dusty Mangum for a 30-point lead. Texas has it with 36 seconds to go in the first half. Once again. That is the 10th time in Cedric Benson's career in which he has gone for 100 yards in a half of football. As I said, he has not played that much this season. With the exception of the Arkansas game. He's limited duty against North Texas and Rice. This time, though, they break it away. And after the 30-yard line is solid return from Willie Andrews.
They're going to have the Longhorns off sides here on the kick. So it'll be a choice here for Baylor whether they want to take the field position on the return or force them to kick it again.
A coach on the far side really got nailed for Baylor.
23-yard return.
Didn't feel good. That's Brent Peace, the offensive coordinator, who, well, he got nailed. That knee, that left knee was pinned underneath the defender. Yeah, that's Harold Jackson to his left, wide receivers coach for Baylor. I remember him as really solid career in the NFL. He played more than a decade in the NFL for the Rams and Eagles. All-pro wide receiver.
Well, Brent Peace was a quarterback, wasn't he? A quarterback, Division I AA quarterback, won the national championship, and he's been hit a few times, but that was kind of a rude hit out of bounds for Brent Peace.
And Brent Peace was a backup at one time and got spot duty for the Houston Oilers. That man, there was no spot duty to his career. Harold Jackson, very good wide receiver in the NFL, trying to lend his knowledge to these young receivers here at Baylor.
And Guy Morris has put together a nice staff, got some former NFL coaches coaching with him there at Baylor. And
you know, and Mac Brown, in some of the local papers this week, he talked about the difference in this Baylor team and what he sees on tape from the UAB game to what he saw last week. And he said he really sees the influence that you're seeing, that NFL influence that you're seeing from these coaches, these assistant coaches on his staff.
Well, on Baylor's staff, and also even on his staff. He's got Greg Robinson, who came in from the NFL, Dick Tomey, who former NFL coach, and things are changed a little bit. You've got some NFL guys coming back to the college game because it's so attractive.
Willie Andrews from the 5. Ooh, Andrews is pulled down. That's going to be a 15-yarder. Anybody that has a yellow handkerchief in the building, they can throw it on that play. Cedric Griffin grabbed onto the face mask and held on for dear life.
Well, he had to get Andrews down. He had a hole there to run through, and he got blockers in front of him. You're going to see number 8 just reach out and grab him and hold him and get him down. Now watch Andrews as he gets up. He actually throws the ball at him. And that actually should have been a penalty, but I don't think they called that on the end. They did enforce the face mask penalty.
It brings the football all the way out to the 45-yard line. That's the good news. Bad news for Baylor, the scoreboard, and the fact that they only have 26 seconds to work with here in this first half.
Got all 3 timeouts, though, so they can use the entire football field. They can stop it on every play.
Lane, play action. Throws it complete in the flat. There's a short gain. Derek Johnson right there.
Got to call timeout. Why aren't you calling timeout?
Jonathan Evans, the fullback, made the catch. And Evans not a man who's he's a guy out of the backfield. Their leading receiver out of the backfield. It's making the 6th catch of the year.
And just a play action pass. You're trying to get something positive. You only got 2 receivers, and they're all covered up here. Throw down to his underneath receiver, and Derek Johnson covers that easily.
Campus Fusion invites all UT students and alumni to the Campus Fusion.
Lost a few seconds on it. 19 seconds left. Talking with these Baylor coaches again, they realize that there is a long way to go. And he used the word infancy when he was talking about his program. That this is just getting started.
Well, he talks about it being a young football team, one of the youngest in Division I college football. But you know, the thing that he's doing, he's trying to build a program what a lot of people would consider the right way. This year, only 2 true freshmen have stepped on the field for Baylor to play, and trying to redshirt the majority of their freshman players, so they will have some experience and be able to bring those guys along and be an effective part of the football team, not just for this year, but for succeeding years.
Only team that is younger in Division I football is SMU. 71% of this Baylor roster is underclassmen. Here comes the pressure, and Dade King did a really nice job of getting rid of the football because he had a lot of company back there. Anytime that big man, Frank Ocam, is coming after you, you better get rid of it.
A big freshman there, 65, just breaks through the line, pass blocking protection error there. And good rush right in the face of King also on the far side.
Ocam standing into the big spot today because Roderick Wright was not able to go. Roderick Wright out with that ankle injury. Weren't sure if he'd be a game-time decision, but when he was not able to really answer the call on Thursday at practice, they decided to go ahead and hold him out. I'm sure the fact that the weather being a slippery track today didn't help any at all as well. And there's a timeout. Should they call it? As soon as he goes down, you call the timeout. You stop the clock with 9 seconds left. As the ball goes inside the 40-yard line down to the 39, it was a gain of 13 yards.
Well, this is a play where they're, hey, if we're not going to get the first down, we want the ball to the clock to continue to run, so we'll run it out here. But since it was a good run, downhill run that time, have a chance to do something else here. Knocking on the door inside the 40-yard line. Might have a chance to get a few yards.
10 yards get you to a 47-yard attempt.
First and 10.
Play action. Here's Lane again being pressured. Throws this when it's complete again to the fullback. Did he get out of bounds? He did not. They're going to have to call timeout with 1 second left as Jonathan Evans just did go down at the right moment. But it's going to be a short gain, and this is going to be a very long field goal attempt. Right at about 52 yards.
Did they call the timeout or did they call him out of bounds?
No, I saw the side judge. He was definitely waving the arm as if to run the clock. In other words, to say you did not get out of bounds.
Make it second down with 1 second remaining.
So it'll be a 52-yard field goal attempt.
A 51-yard field goal attempt.
Kenny Webb.
Kenny Webb.
Longest of the season, 38 yards. And that is short. So Webb comes up short. Texas, though, on top big. They lead it by a score of 37-7. As Cedric Benson with 104 yards, 2 touchdowns on 21 carries in this first half of football, as Texas is halfway to a 4-0 mark. Obviously, Guy Morris's ball club, they've got some adjustments that need to be made here at halftime as his team trails it by 30. Let's go down to John Radigan. JR?
All right, Coach, obviously you've got to feel pleased, and I think the thing that might be best, they get to within 14-7. Your team responded very quickly with 9 quick points.
John, they do good team's answers. Baylor got excited about the 30-yard fumble and then a pass play that made it work for them, and they did a good job, but our team came right back and scored and have consistently scored then. I like the fact that it's an early morning game. It's raining. Fans a little slow getting started, but our guys didn't. They started, and they've played really well. Now we've got to come back out and play well the second half.
One of the goals was to see if you could get the ball to the wide receivers a little more effectively, and you have. Are you pleased with that?
Yes, we are. I thought Vince really relaxed and had a great 1-minute drive there right before the half. That's why we did it. We wanted to see him with the ball in his hands some, and he did a good job with it.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. We appreciate it. That's Mac Brown. His team is way out in front. Kev, back